Norman. Okay. Hey, Sal. We've got folks from Mount Diablo. We've got LA. LA is in the house. Oh my gosh, we have a colleague from Ann Arbor, Michigan. You are most welcome to be here. Napa County Office of Ed. Wheatland is here. Hello, Carol. This is fantastic. We are so excited that you're here to join us. This is our third webinar in a series meant to support grant award winners for the CCAP grants that came out. And we're just so excited you're here. We're going to focus on embedded student supports today, and which is a topic that's near and dear to all of our hearts. And I'd like to start us off by inviting our dear colleague, Diane Crum from the Department of Education, to give us a welcome. Diane, you are on mute.
So sorry, I thought I clicked that, but I guess I didn't click in the right spot. So yes, today I have the pleasure to welcome you to CLP's webinar entitled Embedded Student Support. So in the fall, I had the pleasure of visiting the schools who received the Exemplary Dual Enrollment Award. And I've seen firsthand how the schools that provide strong embedded student support have very successful outcomes. So I'm sure you'll find this webinar extremely helpful in learning more about effectively embedding student support that benefits our most underrepresented students. And the Exemplary Dual Enrollment Award that I made in response to visiting the schools this fall may provide additional ideas on how schools are embedding strong student support. So I believe CLP will be putting the link to that video in the chat. And just before we begin, I have a few updates for you. So we will be having a second round of funding for the Middle College, Early College Grant and the CCAP grant. This will be for new applicants only. So if you receive funding in the first round, you will not be eligible for the second round unless you are adding additional schools to your CCAP agreement. I will be holding a pre-conference session on the second round of grant funding at the Dual Enrollment Equity Conference on February 20th in Long Beach. And I believe there'll be a link for the conference at the end of the webinar. And then also an update on funding. So the funding for the Middle College, Early College grant was sent to the State Controller's Office on November 16th. And it's normally about a 3-week turnaround time after the State Controller's Office receives it until the funds are released. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that any day now, Middle College, Early College will receive their funding, because I think Thursday is the 3-week mark. The CCAP funding is still in our accounting office, and my analyst expects the funding to go to the State Controller's Office later this week. And we do really apologize for the delay, but we want you to know that we are working diligently to get this funding out to you. We know that you need it to get this great work started. So I think that is it. And now I will turn it back over to Naomi and enjoy the webinar.
Thank you so much, Diane. We so appreciate you and all the amazing work you do. For our friends who don't know about the Career Ladders Project, we are a nonprofit. We are based in Oakland, California, but we work all over the state. I'm in beautiful Torrance. Shout out to all my LA USD colleagues there. We promote equity-minded community college redesign, and we really think that community colleges are one of the most strategic levers in the state of California to help alleviate poverty. We do research, we do direct capacity building, and we do policy work, and we're here for you. So let's go to the next slide. This is our agenda today. We had a great welcome and some fantastic updates. We're going to do a really cool session today on embedded student support. So we're going to give a brief overview of that, and then we have 2 partnerships that we're super excited to feature: our friends from Berkeley City College and our friends from Mendocino College. And then we'll have some time for questions. So with that, I'm going to introduce the CLP team. There's me. Hello, I'm friends and colleagues with many of the folks on, the Chief Program Officer at Career Ladders Project. My dear friend and colleague, Laurencia Walker, is a director and also has deep deep expertise in dual enrollment. And Christina Sandoval is the one who keeps us on task, keeps everything running, makes the slides really pretty. And she's also an awesome facilitator if you ever need one. So let me hand it over to my colleague, Laurencia.
Thank you so much, Dr. Castro. So good morning, everyone. This is, as was mentioned, our third webinar in this series, and we've talked about access, we've talked about success. Now we're going to talk about that important middle piece of embedded supports. Now, when we talk about support, some folks may be wondering, well, are you talking about supports in the classroom, outside the classroom with programming? We want to make sure that we're thinking about it in the widest possible lens, right? In both contexts. What does that look like? And so what we want to do is share some specific examples, and then we'll get a little bit deeper with our practitioners. So when we talk about some examples of student supports, we can frame it in terms of your program design, outreach, and your onboarding and transition. So some examples, pathway alignment. We know our colleagues at Bakersfield and Skyline colleges have some excellent examples of building out pathways from the K-12 sector into their higher ed sector by way of dual enrollment for some exemplars there. Integrating dual enrollment to continue on that pathway through a first year experience has been very successful, and an exemplary example of that is at East LA College, the way that they've been able to integrate their dual enrollment services and build it into the first year experience as well. In terms of outreach, specifically with community and family engagement, because we know it takes a village to do this work, even beyond the walls of our institutions. Again, East LA College has their Go East program, where they really start as early as kindergarten, getting families engaged, knowing that they can go to post-secondary education and dual enrollment as a key equity lever. Hartnell College engages with the Promotoris model with some of their community-based organizations and connections, again, to build out those systems of support. Skyline College intentionally engages their students as early and educators as early as middle school with their middle school connections. And Cuyamaca College has Matador Early College, and they do some very, very intentional engagement with families getting into the communities. Their educators are seen within the community, and students see themselves in their educators as well. And so from the outreach component, those supports are very, very important. When we move on to onboarding and transitions, having those high school liaisons, such as Compton and East LA colleges, for example, having classified professionals and student workers, you'll hear a little bit more about those examples here today with some of our other practitioners, but even just being available to hold open virtual office hours in person, those Ask Me Anything times, really creates an opportunity to have open access and open dialogue on any questions, from access to supports and outcome related questions, not only for the student, but for the families as well. And then there's examples from the counseling sector, where Fresno City College and Wheatley College through State Center have their community college and high school counselors, as well as their outreach professionals, support students at every step of the way. And so that's part of the embedded supports in these various designs elements here. And then for additional examples on the next slide, there's examples within the class as well. And so you'll hear a little bit more about Berkeley City's near peer model with Puente and their other intervention programs and how they integrate that within dual enrollment. Again, Fresno City College has examples where they have high school facilitators supporting the day-to-day instruction and support for students as well. Compton College has their classified professionals review early alerts so that students have the greatest opportunity to succeed. And then that obviously provides support for the faculty that are in the classroom as well. And then a lot of our partnerships that we learn and are so proud of working with have tutoring and study jams to make sure that students have opportunities, again, outside of the class as well. And we know our students that participate in dual enrollment have experiences much like the traditional adult population, and have experiences with needing support with basic needs. And so Compton and Hartnell were intentional with engaging financial support with their dual enrollment student population. So we encourage you to engage with them as well to learn more about that. And then, of course, there's always opportunities for us to have professional development. So Long Beach City College in the past has worked with their high school counselors for them to have firsthand experience about what some of that curriculum looks like for their students, so that they understand what that part of the journey is like for their students as well. Compton has experiences with equity learning walks in partnerships with their high schools, and Contra Costa held a specific webinar and professional development opportunity for their educators in the realm of pedagogical approaches supporting multilingual learners. And so a ton of examples. This is by no means an exhaustive list, but we wanted to do some brief level setting with that. And on the next slide, we want to make sure that we couch this in the frame of the important work that's being done in our colleges regards to guided pathways and aligning that with our K-12 partners. So understanding this continuum of work is not necessarily a one-stop shop, and it's part, again, of a continuum of supports for students. So without further ado, it gives me great pleasure on behalf of CLP and the CDE to introduce some of our amazing scholar practitioners that are actually in the field doing the work, starting off with Berkeley City College and our colleague, Dree Regalado. Dree, the floor is yours.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. It's incredible seeing in the chat where everyone's coming from. So super grateful to be in community with you all. And I'm super duper excited that we have one of our incredible student leaders, not only in our Puente program, but in our dual enrolled embodied support models, Ashley Felipe Campuzano, who's here with us. And we'll be inviting her to speak in just a few. And we can go to the next slide. And to provide a little bit of some context about the work that we're doing here at BCC, first, can we do a mic check? Can you hear me well? Okay, awesome. To provide a little bit of context about this work, BCC was awarded a $300,000 grant from the College Future Foundation to really aim to transform our dual enrollment structures. We know there's so many barriers to even participate, and really just wanting to ensure the success of our Black, Indigenous, Brown, and low-income and first-gen and our undocumented scholars in this work unapologetically. And we've developed a dual enrollment for equity team, as well as a partnership with the incredible First Four group to really support this work, aligned with our outcomes of creating smoother systems to enrollment and the onboarding process, providing professional development to staff and faculty and admin at Berkeley City College and out in the community. And I think what's been so powerful about that part is really transforming, I think, the culture around dual enrollment at Berkeley City College, especially, I don't know if you've all experienced those deficit mindsets about folks might hold about what our students are capable of, but just really challenging that deficit mindset, and folks really seeing how incredible our dual enrollment students are. And then this last part, really just continue to assess what we're doing and being ready to pivot so we can keep meeting our students and their families where they're at. And if we move forward, next slide, and we've also developed an equity framework that really holds us accountable as we make decisions that we always go back to. And if we keep moving forward, and just to kind of share more of a high level overview about dual enrollment at BCC, it has grown significantly, over the past 8 years, is to be about 1/5 of our enrollment at Berkeley City College. And if we keep moving forward, and along with the number of students participating in dual enrollment, our sections have also increased significantly in collaboration with a lot of our high school partners across Berkeley, Oakland Unified School District, as well as the West Contra Costa County Unified School District. And if we keep moving, let's see. And this right here, before we dive into a little bit of the embedded dual enrollment supports, we really wanted to frame, there's so many other supports that we've put so much intention and energy into developing, because we acknowledge before we even get scholars into the classroom, there's so many barriers that they might experience, from that initially finding out about dual enrollment to the struggles with completing the CCC Apply application to selecting courses. So we're going to share out some of these resources today, and they're all published online. And if they're not, I'm happy to share anything with anyone following the session. But if we go to the next slide, we can hit next for the little pop-ups as well. So this time last year, our team was doing like a mini Q&A presentation at Berkeley High School, which is actually across from our community college. And students had incredible questions and were going back and forth. And one of the students' names, okay, cool, this is all great information, but none of it's on your website. How do we share this information out or find out more? And I was like, yes, thank you for calling us in. So one thing that we're super excited about is that we've developed a dual enrollment website. And if we keep moving forward, some of the things linked into this website include a handbook We created a whole handbook. It's about 20 pages long. And while it might not be for everybody to dive into a deep handbook, it is really helpful for folks to have access to this information, from our high school students to their families to our folks at the high schools. And we paid a group of our dual enrollment students to serve as consultants as we built it. Additionally, they drafted a scholar to scholar pro tip that we embedded throughout it, which have been so powerful to read. Like, don't be scared to reach out to your instructors or hear your support, or feel empowered to try new types of classes. And it's just made it really motivational across the handbook. And if we move forward, would we like to proceed with the video?
Let's watch it. It's so good.
Okay, let's do it.
Do you know about dual enrollment? Dual enrollment at Berkeley City College is a great way for high school scholars to get a head start. The courses are free and can count towards your high school diploma and college transcripts.
Dual enrollment is also an awesome chance for students to explore degrees and career pathways and try fun elective classes while they're still in high school.
I feel empowered. I like having extra credit. It gives me a motive to start working on my future.
So I want to go to Morehouse and I need the college credit.
I'm shocked that I'm able to get college credit before I even start high school.
You can make connections here and you can really further yourself and you can get college credits. So I thought that was really helpful so I can put it on my resume to help me get into a college like UCLA.
Data shows that students who complete at least one college course before leaving high school are more likely to graduate, enroll in college, and complete a college degree.
I think that's huge. That's the kind of support that we need right from the very beginning, just to lift up these kids and hold them and provide opportunities for them so that they can be successful.
Get the most out of high school and college with dual enrollment. For more information, visit www.berkeleycitycollege.edu or reach out to your high school counselor today.
Twice as strong with
DE at BCC.
So thank you for pressing play on that. And I'm also super excited to share, we've also created a video in Spanish that we were able to present out and share out to a fully Spanish bilingual event that Berkeley City College hosted for our K-12 families this past weekend. And if we move on to the next slide, and you're probably starting to see that there's this larger brand that we've been kind of developing and trying to utilize across all of the resources that we've been creating. So it's just another sample of walking students through the Berkeley City College, the CCC Apply application on the left. The right one is okay, I've registered, I'm a student. What's next? How do you navigate your student accounts? What's Canvas, your student email, etc. And if we go on to the next slide, I also want to highlight here with our dual enrollment in the city of Berkeley, for example, I think just due to, as you see across the Bay in so many other areas, such displacement of our Black and Brown communities. To give some larger context, in the city of Berkeley, we're only about 12% Latino and about 7.5% Black folks. And if you look at the data here, right, that's not reflected in our dual enrollment data. We're really intentional about how we go into the community, what schools we partner with, the incredible partnerships we create with our high school counselors, and other special programs to ensure that these are the students who are participating in dual enrollment, and also using this data to inform, we need to be translating our resources for families. So if we go forward, we'll see that we'll continue to translate into Spanish. And if we keep moving forward, I just wanted to highlight these two right here. Because as we talk about support, for so many of our students from coming from collectivist backgrounds, when we enroll a student, we're enrolling the whole family, right? So I think this was so powerful this past week, and we had 2 different events, really just inviting families. And some of the families, they're right from their kids were in elementary school, and they were so excited about the possibility of participating in dual enrollment in the future. So it's really special. And if we keep moving forward, we're going to go ahead and just keep moving until we get to, then we'll go again. Now we're running through time. We'll keep moving. And a little bit to share an embedded support model that I believe has been super powerful, that I've been so grateful to get to work on, is our program called NOVA. It stands for Networking Opportunities, Vision, and Action. And my incredible colleague, Counselor Skylar Barton, dreamed up this program at the start of the pandemic. So we had all these middle schoolers in March 2020 who were being pivoted to online, who who were about to start their high school experience online, so isolated and just a scary time all around. So they immediately launched or dreamed up and got the go to create Nova. And essentially in this program is designed to support 8th graders with transition into high school. So throughout the summer, they engaged in a series of career exploration courses, really just about that collective dreaming about naming their values, their skills, their strengths, and getting in a lot of self-exploration and using that to move towards more career and major exploration. But also embedded to the class was connecting them to resources at Berkeley City College and the high school. So we brought in the caseworkers and social workers and the counselors from the high school. We brought in a team from BCC, and the team from BCC we developed, my favorite part, is our current Umoja and Puente students who were the coaches in the classroom. So every student had their go-to teammate. And we've seen it over the years, and I think we often dream of like, what does it look like to create a no-fail model? And it really has been having the support of our Puente and Umoja students in the classroom, leading, if we go on to the next slide, from sitting on panels to leading workshops to modeling activities to doing that intentional check-in. It's been really powerful to have these near peer mentors, and not just bringing in our learning community students from Puente and Umoja, but this past spring we had representation from our AAPI learning community and our undocumented community resource center learning community, who also are part of our embedded support model. And also beyond the learning communities, trying to really bring the larger campus resources into the classroom. On the right, our basic needs team led a ball on a budget financial literacy workshop with our dual enrollment students. And I think this is so critical because we want students to know, like, you are part of BCC. You're not just in, dual enrollment. You have access to all these resources. And as we keep moving through, we can go through again, just to kind of do some last celebration shouts before I pass the mic to Ashley. One of the powerful things that came out of a lot of this work around building this culture around dual enrollment is we had students come together to launch a club. So we have a dual enrolled students club, and at the core of their mission has been so beautiful because it's really about supporting other dual enrollment students with finding out about DE, supporting them through the process, and like sharing pro tips on what classes to take and how to navigate different resources. And that picture on the bottom is them doing a panel at one of our high schools with over like 60 something students joined to just hear about their experience. And one more slide. Let's see, go next. Our students also came together to design a hoodie, which has been so incredible because in our dual enrollment classes, we've been able to have the hoodies. Students represent them with pride. When I walk around the city of Berkeley, I see them all the time. And it's so exciting because it starts a conversation like, what's that? And we went through many iterations of the hoodies. We got some roasts on the first visions for the hoodies before the students came together and created this one. And then now if we can go to, and just to kind of highlight, the impact of all this work, our highest success in terms of retention and completion at Berkeley City College is our dual enrolled students. So it's something that we celebrate, but also calling us into like, okay, how can we keep elevating this work and supporting our students? And now if we can go to the slide with Ashley. All right, so Ashley, we'd love to welcome you to just invite you to share a little bit about your incredible experience. About to show some of Ashley, she's an icon. Thank you. Ashley is a scholar in our Puente program, and I'm gonna ask you to go ahead and introduce yourself, Ashley.
Hi everyone, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. So my name is Ashley Felipe Campuzano. I am a criminal justice major and proud Puente student worker. I support in the counseling class for our new students. I've been working with high school students since my senior year in high school. I've been a tutor and a mentor. So tutor, I help them with their homework. And mentor, I provide a space for them to come about whatever they need to talk, or just a space if they want to chill and get out of that craziness of the high school or something. I was part of Counseling 57 Career and Life Plan, which was held in last semester in spring 2023 with the high schoolers. My role there was to help students with the assignments. I helped them with enrolling into the campus and just provide them some resources like I was in Puente, some students had questions about Puente, so I could talk to them. They could ask me anything, and if they had like they didn't know what to do for a career or just have like interested in something, that I also help with that. And I've been working with Nova, if I remember correctly, in summer 2022, which was the second year of Nova. I think so. But yeah, I was part of this summer program called Rise. It was for the incoming ninth graders, and we helped them with the assignments and with whatever they needed to. So yeah.
Ooh, thank you,
It's
Ashley.
just
And
me.
if you could share, what do you feel the
Thank
impact
you.
was for the students who have been participating in our dual enrolled classes with your embedded support?
For the students, I feel they got the support that they needed, because the student workers were there, were experienced from high school, and they were currently college students. So if they needed help with high school things, they'll go and talk to them and be like, hey, you know, you went to high school, it wasn't that long ago, so how was your experience? And if they needed some experience to know like the experience of them in college this year, how what they did and everything, they could go and ask for that. And I think they got a lot of information that they needed and support.
Thank you, Ashley. And last question, what do you feel that you personally gained from the experience of being a student leader?
Ooh, I gained experience with public speaking, because when I started, I'm a shy person. I don't like talking in public, but this me out with my public speaking. Now I'm kind of nervous, but not as much as I was before, and also get more understand what students are going through. And yeah.
Ooh, thank you, Ashley, and thank you everyone
Thank
for having
you.
us. Appreciate you
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you so much, Team Berkeley. And Ashley, you are an expert speaker. Look at you. You're on a webinar. There's over 100 folks here, and you did a great job. So thank you so much for sharing your experience. Dree, thank you so much for sharing the Berkeley lens. We invite you to look through the chat as well to get some of those affirmations. And we really appreciate your time. At this point, we're going to turn it over to our colleagues to share their example at Mendocino College. Dr. Amanda Zhu.
Hi, folks. Good morning. So I'll be talking to you a little bit about Mendocino College. I'll show you where we are at in a minute. We're in rural Northern California, and there may be some folks missing from this area right now because there is all of Northern California has no landline AT&T internet service. So I'm doing this from home. So if you hear background home noise, that's what's going on. Oh, sorry, no clicking. Next slide, please. And so that was myself. And then in the later slides, you'll get to hear from two of our student dual enrollment students who are also our ambassadors. So we'll get to hear from Anastasia and Rose here shortly. So Mendocino College, where is it? So as I shared, it's in Northern California. And just to give you kind of a vision of what that looks like. So if you look at an area that some folks may be familiar with, San Diego County, got good number of colleges there supporting that area, 3 million folks. Next slide. If you go ahead and plot Mendocino and our service area on top, you can see we're about the same amount of geographic area with a lot fewer folks. So we've got in Mendo County, 91,000, Lake County, of which we serve about half of, we've got 68. So 120,000 folks in the same area, the 3 million people are supported, but in a large geographic area. Next. So Mendocino Lake is, as I shared, a small area. We do, however, serve the greatest number of Native American students within the whole community college system. And we've made our dual enrollment outreach in recognition of that and to support of that community. We do have a large amount of poverty in our region. Lake County has the lowest median income in California. And we also, because of this, have a lot lower college going rate. In addition to not having a four-year university in our service area, meaning we also have a lot lower master's rate, which means it can be a little bit harder to find faculty who can teach for us. Next. So this is our campus. You can see we're 2 counties, 3,200 square miles, and we have 13 tribes, 18 high schools. This is showing our main campus and our centers. And then if we overlay in the next slide, these are all of our tribal partners. And you can see that there are many tribes that are far away from our main centers. So in the next slide, you can see we layer in our dual enrollment partners, we're able to really reach out to a lot of our tribal partners to have dual enrollment and college opportunities right in their back door. Next. Just to give a little bit more of a layout of the students that we're working with, a lot of our schools do qualify for free and reduced lunch. We're working with schools to us as large as about 1,600, with most of our schools being in the 200 to 300 range. And then we also have on-ground dual enrollment at a K-12 with 9 high school students. So all across the board of where we're able to offer opportunities. This is just a quick background on where we've come. You know, it's been a long journey of working towards dual enrollment, but we've been able to have conscious partnerships with our high schools, working towards developing pathways, and we're happy to be able to work with the Career Ladders Project to be part of a community of practice and learn from others, integrate some of those great ideas. I know I'm going to be pulling some of those great Berkeley City College ideas into our program as well. And we were lucky enough to be recognized with Mendocino High School, who our 2 ambassadors are joining us from today, as an exemplary dual enrollment program. Next. Through this time, as many of us probably have seen, a great increase in dual enrollment students. With such a rural community, having a head count of about 1,000 dual enrollment students is very significant. And so we're happy to have really good integration into each of our high school partners. Next. This is a slide I like to share because I think it's always true in education, but I feel like especially in dual enrollment, when you're working with alternative entities, that you're always kind of building the plane while flying it, and everybody kind of has a piece, and then you hope that it all comes together and it just works. And I always joke that the gentleman there on the left is definitely just drinking water, nothing else. All right, next. So next is a couple of examples. First, we're going to go ahead and look at a pathway from Fort Bragg, just to show how we started building kind of the infrastructure, and then we'll get into building in those really key supports. So Fort Bragg High School is a high school of 500 students. So it's one of our larger high schools. And we've been able, through a concerted effort and a summer program, to build in a pathway where students can 100% on ground obtain an AA while in high school. And they're getting their liberal arts and sciences with an emphasis in social sciences, associates of arts. So that is open to them. And this is a pathway map that we have available. We are translating it to Spanish. The plan is to make this available and communicate this to parents early. We're hoping to have a bridge program where we're checking in with 8th grade parents and families to share this information so they can begin planning. Next. We also start all of our dual enrollment offerings with a college career success class, and we have that available at most sites for all freshmen to get a good onboarding to what college is. We're also partnering with our K-16 partner, Sonoma State, to be able to extend the associates into a bachelor's. As I shared, we don't have a physical 4-year university in our service area, so we're working with Sonoma to have courses available at our main campus that are then zoomed out to our centers, which are a little bit more reasonable of a distance to local students, because from our Fort Bragg campus to our main campus is an 1.5-hour drive. And so even just having that be able to be zoomed makes education much more accessible. And we're specifically focusing in on a pathway that would lead into a teaching credential to help bring back students to build in the pathway pipeline. All right. So that was Fort Bragg. Next, we're going to go ahead and look at Laytonville. So Laytonville High School, next, is where it's at. It's 100 students. So each of our areas, we're really focusing in on both a transfer pathway as well as a career education pathway. As we shared before, they all start with this college career success class. And then we're able, because it's only 100 students, we actually pool the sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and they go through this rotation of courses so that they have access to a full pathway. And this one is in construction and is taught by one of our full-time faculty who makes this a key point to what is available for students there. Okay, next. And next. We're also making a concerted effort to have opportunities available for our alternative and continuation schools. This is our full-time faculty in culinary and also our academic senate president teaching a culinary class at San Hedron. Next. We're also looking at creative ways to make courses available to folks who are very distant from us. And so we're looking at ways to, work with Zoom where we have internet accessibility and other formats of support. Next. We also are trying to have additional supports for faculty to get to our very distant areas. And as I shared, exploring those other formats of instruction. So through this, we feel like we have somewhat of a good foundation for a pathway and courses that we're offering. And next. But I feel like when we were first starting, we were kind of this image on the left, like we have a good infrastructure, but it doesn't yet quite feel like home. And so student supports are really when you can start making things feel like home. And so that's what we've begun to focus on more. We've had a college and career day where we invite all high schools to join us at 3 different events. We have between 300 and 500 high school students join us at our centers, and we share about student support services and how they can access this as a dual enrollment student and what it would mean to major in different areas. And we combine that and make that accessible. Next. We also, in these events, share alternative resources, and we really make this available throughout our whole region. And specifically here on the right, we're going out to Covelo, which is an area that's about 60 to 70% Native American, really making an effort to drive 2 hours from our main campus to have this in person and accessible to these students. Next. So as I've been sharing, we have a very large geographic area and we're a small college. So we do everything we can, but we have limited staff to really be that in the ground support. And so we looked to our high school dual enrollment students to help be that bridge of information, because many folks in this room can probably relate. You can share things, but you really need that connection to make it feel accessible, because I can share something with a student and they may not feel comfortable then coming and asking me about it. We have had experiences where students were registered for a course for 2 to 3 weeks and had never got into Canvas or had never checked their email because they didn't know how and they didn't feel comfortable asking. And so we've been able to develop a dual enrollment ambassador program where our college is actually hiring high school students and working with them and training them on how to share this information with their peers and have it be accessible. We also have student ID cards made up for our dual enrollment students, as well as a welcome package. Next. We've seen good success rates with our dual enrollment, as most folks I'm sure have seen. 72 is the Mendocino College average, and dual enrollment really usually hovers right around the 90th percentile. Next. And this is really impactful because we're doing this across all high schools and we are representing the students that are at those high schools. So there is a Jumpstart report which analyzed how well your dual enrollment program mirrors the demographics at your high school. And within our district, we have high representation across all underrepresented groups, showing that we have good engagement across the board from all high school students in our programs. Next. So next, we're going to go ahead and hear from Anastasia and Sarah, who are dual enrollment ambassadors at Mendocino High School. So before I share this question with you, I go ahead and just introduce yourself, how long you've been with dual enrollment, and maybe what your pathway or plan might be. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Hi, I'm Anastasia Berdetsky, and I've been taking dual enrollment classes since I was a freshman, and currently I'm a senior. I've really loved this program. It's given me the opportunity to graduate early. I'll be graduating early this year. And also just like take a lot of different classes that our school doesn't provide.
And hi, I'm Sarah Rose. I am in a similar boat. I've been taking dual enrollment classes since the spring of my freshman year, and I'm currently a senior.
Okay, thank you both. So now kind of thinking specifically about the dual enrollment ambassador program, how has this helped you grow? And then potentially, how do you think it's helped your peers?
Well, personally, it's really widened my view of education and how many different ways I can access it. And I think that's really been helpful for my peers, especially since we live in a small town. People are able to even get like associate's degrees and take really cool college classes at such a young age.
Yeah, I think that the dual enrollment program has sort of made it more of an option for a lot of people because as long as I've been in high school at the Mendocino High School, we've had a number of people that do dual enrollment classes sort of on their own or through an on-campus dual enrollment class. But I think that creating this ambassadorship and just sort of like having us here as like peers that like other people can talk to and like ask questions to, I think it's made it like a little more accessible to everyone and just sort of given people the idea that that might be like something that they could participate in and sort of open that door a little more.
All right, well, thank you both very much for joining us today, and glad the internet's working in Mendo.
Yeah, us too.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Zhu and Anastasia and Sarah. When people have questions on whether or not ninth graders can do dual enrollment, we're going to have them come talk to you. So thank you all so much for sharing your perspectives and your role in sharing and paying it forward at such an early age. We really appreciate you. And so with that, we want to open it up. We have some time for questions. So if you all in the audience have questions, feel free to share in the chat. I know we do have one question. I believe it is for our Mendocino folks. So Dr. Zhu, there's a question around how are students participating in Zoom classes supported in person? If they are accessing those services, we know they have the opportunity to access them, but can you speak any more to that, please?
Yeah, so we try to, our first focus is always to offer a course physically on ground if we can. Our real limitation is faculty, so sometimes we do transition to having it be a synchronous Zoom class. In those instances, we found it very important that there be an on-ground support person, sometimes to just be an advocate for the student questions. If you're on Zoom, it can be intimidating sometimes to break into an instructor speaking over Zoom and ask your question. And so we have someone who we hire as an embedded tutor to sometimes bring those student questions forward, walk around the room, make sure that progress in the course is moving forward well, and be the voice for the student. So that's our on-ground facilitated support for our synchronous Zoom classes.
Great, thank you so much. Other questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A part or in the webinar chat. I did get one message, again, this is for the Mendocino colleagues. How do you partner with your high schools to identify student ambassadors for the roles?
So we have an open Google Forms that we share with the high school principal and counselors and dual enrollment instructors. And it's really open to anybody to apply for. And then each student who becomes a dual enrollment ambassador, we have them interview. And it's more of a, kind of a professional development opportunity. And we ask them some questions, make sure that they show up on time and kind of follow through. And then we select them through that process.
Thank you. And I think we have one more here from Mendocino. Do you have successful models for asynchronous hybrid classes?
So one place we're really limited is with STEM instructors. So in Lake County at this moment, we do not have a math faculty who lives in Lake County. And so having math accessible to dual enrollment students in Lake County. The only way possible for us to do that is at this time through an asynchronous online course. So in that scenario, what we do is we work with folks who are we've worked with current college students who are math majors, or many times it's the high school faculty who are math teachers. They just don't have a master's in math. And we hire them as tutors, and they go into the classroom at a certain bell time, and they review the Canvas shell, review the content, and it's like a really in-depth workshop for students that aligns with the online course. Because we have seen that, yes, there are students who would be successful without that, but it is a much more robust success rate when you have that additional on-ground support. The college hires the tutors to support, yes. And if it's a high school faculty member who doesn't meet min-quals from our math class, they typically meet min-quals for our math lab. And so we still hire that high school faculty member as a math lab instructor, and then students would sign up for math lab as well as statistics or calculus.
This next question is for our Berkeley City colleagues. So Dree, this person is from a high school, and they said, we know our local college has a Puente program. How can we begin to partner and do what Berkeley City did with dual enrollment? So I guess along the lines of integrating Puente and dual enrollment, what advice do you have?
Yeah, I think, you know, so at the core of Puente, it's so much about community and family. And I think one thing that's been huge is having the privilege of being the Puente counselor. When I'm doing my counseling sessions with students, I'm often asking about who their family is, right? And then inviting them, oh, do you want to bring your brother to your next counseling session? And we can talk about dual enrollment, or oh, you know, your parents are interested in taking ESOL courses or a non-credit pathway. So I put a lot of intention on that end. But also when we do like our larger campus events, like it's a tradition for Noche de Familia for Puente, like we had ours last week, and one thing that I spoke about to the larger families was like, you know, we're here for everybody. So if we want to talk about dual enrollment, you know, let's talk. And so that's been huge. And sorry, was the question also on how we identify the student leaders in Puente? Or
they were wondering, how did you partner with Puente? But if you wouldn't mind sharing that perspective as well with the ambassadors.
Yeah, so yeah, just by being I am the Puente counselor, and I also teach the dual enrollment classes. So there's that huge bridge there. And then on the other end, like as the Puente counselor, I teach our Puente counseling classes. And through that, as I start kind of seeing who's showing up as a leader in the classroom, I often will connect with them to see if they might be interested in being a dual enrollment student intern in our classes. And that's how we kind of get the connection there.
Another question for you, Dree. It says, it looks like there's a lot of people involved in making the Berkeley model happen. How did you get buy-in from your college? Yeah. So I guess the different partners within the institution?
Yeah, so it's been quite a journey. So we got that grant a few years ago, which has been so, you know, huge in being able to do some of the work we've been doing. But a lot of it at first, right, I think I spoke a little bit to it, was there's some deficit mindsets that we have to challenge about, you know, what dual enrollment is and who our students are and what they're capable of. So that first year, we did a lot of sessions. I think we did 8 in that first year, inviting faculty and paying them to participate in these larger sessions about dual enrollment. We also had one of our dual enrollment for equity coordinators start a faculty community of practice to start kind of connecting practices, or to share best practices for supporting dual enrolled students in the classroom. Additionally, putting a lot of intention and energy into building those stronger partnerships with our low school, high school partners, from hosting like principals breakfast to community partners breakfast to I've myself gone to the high schools to provide training for the high school counselors to kind of share more information. But that's how we built kind of the buy-in in the team. And also my understanding is, you know, as funding cuts down, some of the fun there is too fun, like putting on these dual enrollment classes. So I think, you know, I think on that end too, there's been more buy-in from folks excited to teach these classes. We also at our Flex Day this past fall had a faculty panel of all of folks teaching in our dual enrollment classes directly at the high school to kind of share their experience with the larger BCC community. And it was like our larger plenary. So it wasn't like our shorter, smaller attended sessions what we experienced in the past, but the whole campus got to hear like what is dual enrollment in our most recent flex.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I think that does it for our questions. Again, thank you so very much to our practitioners that are out in the field doing the work. A special thank you to the students that were there today to share their perspective and pay it forward in the important work that they're doing. So again, we are so appreciative. We encourage you all to connect with these practitioners. And if you would like to connect with a larger group of folks, on the next slide, we have a few opportunities in which you can engage with the field with additional questions. We have a virtual community of practice space where it's all user generated and with folks across the state that are doing dual enrollment. So if you're interested, there's the QR code and we can make sure you get signed up. And that is a place again for you to put your questions out there, see what folks are doing, get other examples of agreements, learn more about different dual enrollment models that are out there and other strategies. So that is one way that you can engage with the field that you are welcome to take part in. We have links in the chat as well. On the next slide, we also have another opportunity for you all to connect. Diane had mentioned this in the beginning of the webinar. We have the second annual Dual Enrollment Equity Conference. We would love to have you join us. Feel free to register, get your hotel. We will be in community in Long Beach, and we would love to have you there. We have a spectrum of speakers. There's pre-conference sessions and a variety of equity-centered discussions throughout the session and conference as well. And again, just another great way to network and build your own community of practice for dual enrollment. And on the next slide, we mentioned that this is the last of our webinar series, but there's still opportunities to connect with this community. And so join us this spring for our open office hours on CCAP specifically. So if you want to dive a little bit deeper and have specific questions to your partnership, we will create that space for you to engage in that discussion. So you can sign up in advance for the multiple days in which we will be engaging in that virtual space. There's also an opportunity for you to share questions if you have questions in advance, and we will try to tailor each session to either regional or questions that are similar so that that space is meaningful for all those that are there. So don't worry if you didn't catch all of our webinars. There's, again, still opportunities for us to connect and be in community with one another. And in that same vein, we want to remind you that we do have all of the webinar recordings and slide decks at your disposal. And so we will share a link to that. And we will also send out a subsequent email to all of you that have registered and that were here today. And so we have those links available for you as well. If there are any other questions, you can feel free to contact us directly. We really appreciate you all being here today. Thank you. Thank you. There's our contact information. Again, we really appreciate you taking your time out in this home stretch of the semester. We wish you a good winter break and look forward to seeing you in the spring as well. Keep up the great work. Keep an eye out for those other funding opportunities and let us know how we can all work together to create more equitable dual enrollment opportunities for more of our students. Thank you so much.